And if you did, then that's family business.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for coming on.
We're so glad I'm so glad to do this. I'm thrilled to see you guys all grown up.
I know. When was the last time I saw you? Like 6 years ago?
I know.
Yeah, it's been
Or
a while.
even more.
Yeah.
No, I think they came to Hawaii not
So when
too
we
long
came
ago.
out there, we went out. We had dinner that night.
Yes, for sure. Went out to the west side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I know it's
How's
late for
everybody
you.
doing?
Good. It's
Yeah,
summer.
it is here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad the air conditioner works.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
I
don't
know.
get
What's
we
the
don't get
weather
the
like?
we don't get the trade winds over here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky we have them out here all the time. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
What? All right, ladies, tell me what you guys are doing now. Tell me what everybody's got going.
Me and Sarah live in LA now, and we're fitness instructors. So I work
Live
for her.
together or live to separate places?
We live together.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
they're both fitness instructors.
Yeah,
Oh man,
fitness instructors. I'm a
love
studio
it.
manager. Jordan works at a swimwear brand, really big swimwear brand as well.
Right in. We
Nice.
live in Beverly Hills, so
Oh, that's good. You got to get those Beverly Hills clients, man. They
Yeah.
pay good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And a lot of headaches. Pay good and a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
And I'm
then
still playing
Jalen.
soccer in college. I'm at Boise State now. Yeah.
That's
so I'm
great.
in Idaho.
Well, I know Spencer Danielson, the coach there,
Yeah,
and
the head
what a
coach.
great guy.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah,
He's the
we've been
football
out to
coach?
the
He's a football
Yeah.
coach. Yeah.
the head football coach. Yeah, we've been out there a couple of times. Really like it in Idaho. Super nice,
Yeah.
clean. You know, not too much traffic, and you got the
I've heard.
mountains. Yeah, so it's really really nice.
That's great.
How's the family, man?
Everybody's doing good. Isabel graduated from South Carolina last month. She took
Okay.
a job. She's already working her job. She took a job at Columbia University in New York City. She's the director of football
Wow.
operations.
Wow.
I saw that on her Instagram.
Yeah, she got lucky. That's a good job. She struck gold in that one.
That's
So happy for her. Oh
I
my
am
God, that's
too.
exciting.
Yeah. Amelia's graduating from high school. I guess
Wow.
it's a couple of weeks. So they're still in school. They don't start until September here. So graduation
Yeah.
is until the 23rd, but she's going to go to Auburn in the fall. And then Evie, the baby, she's 15. She'll be a sophomore next year. We got
Wow.
her in a different high school than Amelia. Just it's perfect for her. It's really small, and so she's playing on the tennis team. She's doing good.
Nice.
Awesome.
And how's Beth?
Oh, she's tolerating me every day. It's an absolute chore for her, but
She's the best.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you guys call Evie. Her real name is Evangeline, right? Correct?
We call her Evie.
Evie. Okay.
Evie.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Evangeline, but we call her Evie.
Okay. Because my great grandmother's name was Evangeline. Yeah.
Oh wow, how about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. We used to call her Angel instead.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
For short. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful name. I really love
Beautiful.
that.
Yeah. You guys, yeah, you named your girls like really historic and names are very unique,
Yeah, they're old names.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
So you
Well,
guys,
yeah,
how long you guys been doing this blog?
it's been about a year now. So you're gonna make our 1 year anniversary.
Wow. How often
Special
do you guys
one.
do it?
We started twice a month, but now we're just going once a month because the girls are very busy now, and so
Yeah,
so we want to do it once a month with good quality, instead of just trying to pump out stuff. But yeah, it was a
nice.
girl's idea. They felt they wanted they may have a platform to use this kind of share their experiences as daughters and women and athletes and
Yep.
and then hopefully maybe inspire younger women out there that may have been going through the same not only successes but struggles that came along with being not only an athlete but a women athlete. So yeah, they thought it would be maybe nice to do so, and they dragged me into it. So
No, we did not. It was also his idea.
no, I agree with the idea. I thought maybe it was a good idea. So
But we
Yeah.
kind of had this idea for a long time,
Yeah.
but just never really got to it.
yeah.
So
So how about that older brother of yours? He got You got a grandkid for you yet there, Lousy?
Yes, we do.
My gosh.
Yeah, we
Grandpa.
do. So she's 3 years old. Her name is Luna Hili Na'i Lau. So yeah, kind of a unique name too. So Luna, like the
Beautiful.
moon. Yeah, and her
What does she
Hawaiian
call
name.
you and Dana? What's
So
your names?
I'm Papa, and Dana is Nana.
Nana. Nice.
Not really original, but it's pretty
That's
easy
okay.
to.
Yeah.
And she's a handful. She's just like the dad, exactly like the dad,
Yeah.
nonstop, 24 hours, just revving. And
Yep.
so, but she's so fun to have around, and yeah, but we're happy that we could give her back later, after.
That's right. Spoiler rotten, and
Yeah,
then hand her back over.
yeah. There's no rules at Papa's and Nana's house. No
That's
rules.
right.
Welcome back, fam. This is 3 for 3, a daddy-daughter podcast where we talk about all things faith, family, and sports. Today we have a special guest. He's actually like family to us and the head football coach at Army West Point Academy.
He's a dear friend of mine, one of my best friends. And him and his family means a lot to us. And he's not only called to be a head football coach, but he's been called to build men to serve. Not only our country, but the communities that they live in, and their family. He's one of the most respected leaders in college football. Coach Jeff Monken, for over a decade, has led the Army West Point football program, building one of the most successful cultures in our country. But what makes his story unique isn't just the wins. At West Point, his players aren't only preparing for football, but they're preparing to serve their country and lead others. In a world focused on results, Coach Monken has built a program centered on discipline, selflessness, accountability, and character. Today, we're talking leadership, culture, purpose, and what it takes to develop young people into great athletes, leaders, and men. Monk, welcome to the podcast. Aloha, my brother.
Aloha. I'm so proud to be on here with you guys. This is going to be so much fun.
Yay.
I
Yeah,
love
so
I love that family on the other side of the screen right there.
And we're so grateful and blessed to have you have your time and you join us. The first question is we kind of just want you to share a little bit about where you grew up and your upbringing and of course your family.
So I grew up on I guess you'd call it the south side of Chicago. Joliet is what I call my hometown. That's my dad was the head coach at Joliet East High School, and we kind of grew up at that school. Every afternoon I'd get off the school bus and I'd run down the driveway and I'd yell for my mom to take me over to the high school, and she'd throw me in the back of the station wagon, and we'd drive about 5 miles to the high school. And I think before the car was stopped, I was trying to jump out. I couldn't wait to get to football practice every day. And I just love being there. I love being around the team. And from probably 8, 9, 10 years old, I was handing out equipment in preseason and mixing Gatorade on the sidelines on Friday nights and running out to pick up the kicking tee and just being a part of the team. I had a great life. My mom and dad were both teachers. Younger sister Susan, younger brother Tom. We all grew up at that high school, and I mean, we went to every sporting event they had there. Whether it was the Friday night football games, but we went to basketball games and volleyball matches and tennis matches, and we just seemed like we were there every day. And it was a great life being a coach's kid. We were our whole family just centered around faith. Went to church every Sunday. Had extended family relatives that lived fairly close. All lived in Illinois, and really, I think every one of my cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, all went to church on Sundays. So our family was very much centered on faith and football. My dad was a high school coach, as I said, and four of his brothers were had high school coaches in the state of Illinois while I was growing up as well. So we all grew up in that same kind of environment. And ironically, there were seven of us who were sons of those five brothers that are now in the coaching profession. My brother Tom went into coaching, and five of my cousins. My cousin Todd is the head coach of the Browns, and and so we just all have pursued this profession. And I think we saw what an impact our parents made on the people that they worked with every day, the students and their fellow teachers. And I think we appreciated and respected the opportunity to serve others, to serve a community, and to help develop people. And so that's really what my life's been about. And I grew up learning those lessons from my parents, my grandmother, my dad's mom. It's hard for people to believe she taught full time until she was 90, and
Wow.
that's pretty rare. But she just kept going to school every day, kept teaching, and loved it. Never got tired of it. And finally, I think about 90, she thought that was enough. And then for a couple more years, she taught piano lessons and tutored kids privately. And she just spent her whole life serving people. So I was very blessed to be a part of a family like that. And when I graduated from high school, I went to Millikan University, which is a Division III school in Illinois. So very much Midwestern roots. Played for a great guy named Carl Pelker. And then I knew I wanted to be a coach, and the first opportunity came under Coach Wagner at the University of Hawaii, and I met I met Leonard Lau, one of my great friends, and the rest is history.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's so, I mean, your family is like a Hawaii family, you know, we're so tight, knitted, and we, our family means everything to us. And I think the Monken Ohana is the same way, and what's special about you guys are how you guys impacted not only each other, but the people around you,
Yeah,
which makes it so special. And you being influenced by not only your grandmother and your parents, it's amazing, and just kind of shows what kind of people they were that, paved the way for you, your brother, Tom, and Susan. So it's just awesome to see. And your dad, Mike, was such a great man. I miss that
he
guy.
was. Me too.
I know he's been a huge impact on your life. And I stay in touch with Mom Nancy all the time on social
Yeah,
media. She's such a firecracker and such a joy to always connect with her. But
80,
it's all,
85 now.
I
And
know
still just she's going like a ball of fire. Still lives by herself and drives all over town. And so we're very fortunate. We've got her, and she's in great health.
that's so amazing,
Yeah.
and it's always nice to connect with her through our stories and stuff. But just going back to your dad, Mike. What are some of the things that he instilled in you that still shows up today on the sidelines with you? While you're coaching and teaching.
I think what I really appreciated about my dad was that he treated everybody the same. Even when I played for him, he didn't try to be harder on me. Certainly didn't take it easier on me. Just treated me like one of the guys. And he was that way with every player. There were I never saw any favorites. They were all his favorites. And he just great optimism. He was always trying to find the good in the players, really encouraging. He was an outstanding teacher, spent a lot of time on fundamentals and teaching the game to the players. I think just very loving in that way. He's very much into people development. He didn't win every single game though. I'm very proud. My dad and all four of his brothers are all in the Illinois State High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame. So they had a great impact on the communities and the players that they coached. But it wasn't the success so much on the field. It's just watching my dad teach and grow people, and the community that we were in. It wasn't a real affluent community, and we had guys from all walks of life and all different backgrounds, and he just treated everybody the same. And I never knew who his favorite player was because I think they were all his favorite, like I said. And I'm not as good at that. And the patience that he had with people that would make mistakes, and he was very much in the business of second chances and teaching lessons with with life's mistakes and shortcomings. And so I really appreciated that. And so I'm still striving to learn some of his
Mhm.
patience.
Just briefly talked about your family. You're married to your beautiful wife, Beth, and raising three amazing daughters who I miss so much. I haven't seen any of you guys for a long time. Isabel, Amelia, and Evie. which is short for Evangeline. We want to know, what does being a husband and father mean to you?
Well, that's my life. I don't have any hobbies. I don't do anything outside of really my job, but I consider coaching football my vocation. It's I believe it's what I was called to do, what God put me on this earth to do, and I love what I do. And I want to do it every day. I never get tired of it. I'm excited every morning to wake up and be a football coach and have the opportunities that I have. But if I'm not doing something with this football team, I'm at home with my family, with Beth and with the girls, and we like to travel together. We like to just sit at home and watch movies together. Anything I can do with them. Anytime they'll let me even ride in the car with them. They're going to the store. I'll say, "Can I ride with you in the car?" And they say yes. I'm like so excited, and I just get some time with them. I love my family and Beth and my girls, and Beth's been such a great support to me as a coach's wife. That is a hard job. It's a hard job because I spend a lot of time with this football team and a lot of time away. And frankly, sometimes when I'm home, I'm still away. And that's one of the challenges for me personally, is just being present and being home when I'm home, because I'm so I'm so screwed into what we're doing on a football team, and I think about, okay, what's happening tomorrow? What's going on with this player? How do I need to deal with this problem? And Beth just does everything for us. God, the place would fall apart if we didn't have her. So thank God she's definitely my better three quarters. That's for sure. I'm so proud of my girls. Isabel, who's now the director of football operations at Columbia University in New York City. She just graduated from South Carolina, and she's living her dream. She has worked for Gamecock football in South Carolina the last 2 years, and she wanted to get into football operations, and this opportunity presented itself, and I'm so happy for her. She's really excited. Amelia, who's just a great kid, captain of the cheerleading team. She kind of followed in Beth's footsteps. Beth was a cheerleader at Florida, so Beth said, at least I got one cheerleader. Yeah, and she's captain of the cheerleading team and is going to go to Auburn this fall. And then Evie is a freshman, and she tried out for the tennis team this spring, so it's her first year doing that. And this might have been her best year just overall in school. She really enjoyed it. It's a new school for her, and she really found some great success there. So we're really proud of all of them. They're all women of faith, go to church and believe in Christ, and I'm more proud of that than I am anything that they do.
So
Amazing.
so amazing. You
We
done a
love our
great job,
girl
my brother.
dads.
Another great girl dad out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. People say, "Don't you want a boy?" I said, "No, I take it just like I got it. I love my girls.
Exactly.
I got all the boys I need every day
I
when I come
know.
to the building, and they drive me
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm glad to go home to some girls.
Yeah. Well, Mark, we're gonna talk a little bit about the role you took to becoming a Division One head coach.
Yeah.
First, we just want to know, like, when did you know or take? I know you mentioned a little bit about it before, but when did you first know coaching was like your calling?
I think I knew that I always wanted to stay in football, and I would have loved to have continued to play as long as they would let me play. If I was playing in today's era, I would be like filing for court injunctions and everything I could to just get one more year.
Yeah.
I loved playing the game. I was not particularly talented. Like I said, I went to Millikan University, which is a Division III school, and I say that if there was Division IV, I would have had to play Division IV, but Division III was the lowest you could go. So
He's lying.
I was, no, it's the truth. But I had a great experience playing college football. But I knew long before I ever went to high school that I wanted to be a coach. In fact, where I lived in New Lenox, so New Lenox is a little community right outside of Joliet, and right down the street from us, there was this gentleman that lived on the corner house, and he belonged to a country club, which is a couple towns over. And we befriended him and his wife and his son, and he just was always really kind to us. Well, he came to to the house one night. I don't know, he and my dad were sitting there talking at the table, and my mom and his wife, and I wish I could remember their names, but anyway, we were just having a family conversation, and he said to me, he goes, "Why don't you think about going out for the golf team?" And I looked at him like he had three heads. Now I'm in eighth grade. I'm pushing 5 feet tall. I don't even know if I'm 5 feet tall yet. I probably weighed about 90 pounds, and I'm getting ready to be a freshman in high school. I know I was about that size because when I reported for freshman football, they took my height and weight, and I was 5 feet 94 pounds.
Wow.
And but he was trying to get me to go out for the golf team, and he said, "Look, I'll get you a membership to our country club. You don't have to pay for it. I'll pay for lessons for you to take lessons from the pro at our country club if you'll go out for the golf team." And I said, "No way." And there's not enough money in the world to get me to go out for golf instead of football. And so they left that night. And my parents said, "You know, Jeff, maybe you ought to think about that. That's a really great offer." And I looked at them like they had three heads. I'm like, "There's no way. All I've ever wanted to do was play high school football. I've waited my whole life to do this." And
Mhm.
and I knew then. I said, "How am I going to be a college coach if I go play on the golf team?" And my dad said, "Jeff," he said, "you know how hard it is to be a college coach?" He said, "Everybody wants to be a college coach. Every high school coach wants to coach in college." And he said it's really, really difficult to do that. I said, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway." And
Mm.
I said, I'm gonna go out for the football team, and I'm gonna play somewhere in college. And when I get done, I'm gonna go coach, and I'm gonna coach in college. And that's all there was to it. And my parents tried to convince me that, "Hey, why don't you get a business degree and you have something to fall back on?" I wouldn't hear it. So I knew I always wanted to do
Mm.
this, and
Mm.
fortunately, it worked out.
Wow.
I
So
love that.
what it
Persistent.
started. Yeah.
Well, my senior year in college, I played at Milliken. The offensive coordinator's name was Doug Niebuhr, and Sam Trustner was the equipment manager. So they were best friends in college. They both went to Milliken, and they went to the National Football Coaches Convention every year. So the American Football Coaches Association hosts a convention at a different location every year, and there's anywhere between 5,000 and 7,000 coaches that will come to that city, and there's
Mhm.
speakers, and it's really an opportunity to meet other coaches. So I went there with a stack of resumes. They said, "Come on, we'll take you there. You can ride down in the back seat of the car, and you can meet a bunch of coaches." So I put a resume together. There wasn't anything on it. I mean, I didn't have any experience, and I approached every coach that had a logo on his shirt, and I introduced myself, and I told them I was going to be looking for a graduate assistant job in 6 months when I graduated. And I met a bunch of people, and listen, I approached everybody. I met Bo Schembechler. I met Vince Dooley from Georgia. I met the legendary Eddie Robinson, Bobby Bowden. I mean, I was approaching everybody. No shame. But I met a guy named Buzz Preston, and Buzz was the receivers coach at
Mhm.
Hawaiʻi. He knew my dad. So Buzz had been an assistant at Southern Illinois University as along the way during his career. So he knew my dad. He knew all my uncles. He knew the Monken name and all the coaches. And so anyway, I kept in touch with him. I got back to school, and I called him a couple times. That's before internet. That's before
Mm.
email. That's when you had to call the 1-800 line at the field house over there. But I talked to Buzz a couple of times. He called me on maybe an early April morning one time, and he said, "Hey, Jeff, this is Buzz from Hawaii." He said, "I think we're going to have a GA job, and I talked to Coach Wagner about you, and we want to set up a phone call." So anyway, we set up a phone call, and I guess it was maybe later that afternoon or the next day, and I talked to Bob Wagner, who was the coach at Hawaii, and he said, "Hey, Buzz told me about your family. We got a GA job. If you'd like to have the job, we're offering you the job." I took the job on the spot. I said, "Heck yes." So that was that. And I knew I was going to go to when I graduated. I was really excited. I had no idea what was in store for me. I had no idea what my job would be, what it would entail, but I was excited to learn. And so, 22 years old, I got on the airplane in July and flew to Hawaii, landed in Honolulu, and Three of the other graduate assistants picked me up. Joe Hughes, Ray
Mhm.
Gregory, and Bill Wassel picked me up at the airport, and off we went. And from there, my career started. And I was really fortunate. Bob Wagner was a really great boss. I learned a lot just about the organizational management in a football program. He was very organized. But the two coordinators were Paul Johnson and Rich Ellerson, both tremendous football coaches. And I worked for Paul for 13 years. He became my boss. So without that experience, I would have never worked for Paul Johnson. I may have never been the coach at Army.
Mhm.
And so it was really a great experience. And I met great guys like Leonard Lau, who's now one of my best friends and stood up
Yeah.
in my wedding with me. And so I made some great friends. That was made of the 38 years that I've coached since graduating from college. Maybe two of the best years of my life and my career were the two at Hawaii because of the friends I made. And certainly I didn't get paid very much money. I lived in the office. So that was a very unique experience. I was just talking to my oldest daughter, who's the
Mhm.
DFO at Columbia, about that. The survival of a graduate assistant at the University of Hawaii. But I've got some of the best friends that I've made in my lifetime in those 2 years at Hawaii. So like I said, Leonard, you're one of my best friends, and I got another one of my best friends, Sean Saturnio from
Mhm.
Hilo, and we've been working together for 15 years. So it's just, man, what an experience that was.
I mean, I remember we used to call the office the Rainbow Hilton.
Yes, we
Remember?
did.
Yeah, we
Yes.
used to.
It,
I
it
remember
it
at
had more
night.
than one resident. I
Yeah,
can promise you, there were a few GAs living up in the Rainbow Hill.
I remember we used to go up to the back door, knock on the back door, knowing that you were in there. You open up, we all come in, hang out, eat, and
That's
and
right.
it was such a great time. But I mean,
Hey,
just kind
thank
of
God for Mama Lau. I got some home cooked meals every once in a while.
Eh.
Your
yeah,
mom, oh my gosh, and she would send the leftovers. She'd always
yeah.
have the plates with the foil on top. She's like, "Oh, Jeff, I made you some plates. They'd be plates like this." And so
I remember
if
you.
I didn't have that, I was like, I told Isabel, I'm like, yeah, I would make ramen noodles and hot dogs in the coffee pot down in the little kitchen area. I ate a lot of meals like that.
I mean, girls. I mean, we talk about traumatizing uncle. We used to bring him to our Sunday afternoon family gatherings. How
Uncle
wild
Mike
was
over
that?
there, yeah.
Uncle Mike, yeah. Oh my
Uncle
God,
Mike.
they loved Uncle Jeff, man. They loved him, man. He was ohana to everybody
Those were
there.
good
But
times.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was such fun times. But I mean, talking about Hawaii, like, what was some of the experiences there? As a coach and just living there. What you got out, what you learned from it, what it meant to you, just being there.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. People ask me about living there, and I, I sometimes say to them, if I try to put it into words, I'm not sure you can understand. There is it was those Sunday fellowships at your house with your family, with your
Mm-hmm.
parents and your sisters, and you and Dana, and that's Hawaii to me. It's it's going out to the beach and everybody bringing food and hanging out at the beach, fishing with the guys, and building a fire on the beach and cooking fish on the beach, sitting out in the outfield at the baseball stadium,
Mm-hmm.
everybody hanging out, bringing their
Yep.
bento plates, and
Yep.
just the friends, and it's so different. It's so different. People take time there for other people, for people they love, and it's the most important thing, to gather with friends, to gather with family, to be among the people that you care most about. That's the cherished moments in Hawaii, and that's what I remember. It's the people. But I experienced things there that I had never experienced before, and good the places you see, the adventures that you take when you're there, going to the Big Island and seeing an active volcano, and surfing for the first time, and just so many things, so many experiences that you don't have in the mainland, and the food and the culture, and man, I loved it. I loved it. I really, it's parts of me wish I would have never left and would have never had a reason to leave. But the profession I was in, I knew what I wanted to pursue, and that's what took me away from Hawaii.
But you always have a home and a family here in Hawaii.
Oh, I
So
know.
you're
I
always
know.
welcome.
And It's amazing when I've come back, and I don't come back as often as I used to when I was younger, and didn't have a whole family. I could just get on the plane and come over and stay up there with you guys. And I stayed out with Danahuna out there on the west
Yeah.
side one time, and just the friends. But every time I come back, the feeling is the same. It's that same feeling washes over you when those wheels touch down. And when you embrace your friends and you can wrap your arms around your friends, that same feeling comes back. So that's what's special about Hawaii, and I'll always have that feeling. I'll take it to my grave.
I mean, if you look at back when you were at Hawaii, as the GA and on the football staff, and we had some legendary coaches there. I mean, yeah, you had Jeff Monken, we had Kenny Niumatalolo, we had Coach Paul Johnson, we had Ellerson. I mean, it was pretty amazing. Now you look back at it, that
Yep.
all you guys were, I mean, huge influences in the college game today, and I feel fortunate to be mentored and played under such great men like you guys, and
Yep.
it's crazy to kind of look back at that Hawaii, those years, and that time, and under
Yep.
those, amazing.
What I appreciated about that coaching staff is they gave me a lot of opportunities to coach. They really taught me how to coach. Working under Coach Johnson, I worked on offense my first year. I worked on defense my second year, and when I worked with George Lumpkin in the secondary, he taught me how to coach and let me coach those guys. And so that was great for a young guy like me. And so often now there's so many coaches that it becomes very specialized. You got these guys and they're an analyst for one position, and they don't really get an opportunity to learn and to teach fundamentals. And I really appreciated that about that coaching staff. And they supported me. I got my master's degree while I was there. That's really hard to do when you're a graduate assistant. But when I got there and I arrived, Rich Ellerson, who's a little bit of an intellect, as you know,
Mhm.
he said, he said, what was your GRE score? And that's like the ACT or SAT for graduate school. I told him my score. He goes, you're going to be the one. You're going to be the one that gets a degree. He goes, none of these GAs ever get a degree here. I'm counting on you. You're going to get it done. And so I pursued it. I did. And it took a lot of time, and it was hard. I had to sacrifice a lot of free time to do it, but it was worth it. And I was really proud to earn my master's degree from Hawaii. And so Len, you remember the graduation. What was the little amphitheater, the outdoor amphitheater over there, right up from the
Yeah. Oh my
so
God. I forget.
hey,
Sarah, do you remember?
look, that place. So I went to Connie Capilla there for the first
Yeah.
time. That
Yeah.
was a great
Yeah.
experience. I saw Brother Is live. I I
Yes.
I have lived a life. I saw
Yeah.
Brother Is live in that amphitheater. But then I graduated from grad school in that amphitheater, and you came. Dana was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Moki Hill, Maeva, all you guys came. I had lays piled up almost to my eyeballs. I mean, you guys, it was awesome, man. You guys took such good care of me. I didn't have family there.
Mhm.
Mom and dad, you guys were my family. You were there for me.
No, you're right.
Wow.
I forget the name of that place, but they used to have concerts and everything in there. It was wild.
Yeah,
But yeah, I remember
Is
that
it
day
an
you graduated,
outdoors
man.
out?
But that,
yeah.
yeah, it's right. It was right
Outdoors.
on campus, right by campus center. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the name of
I
it.
I
forget
think
I
the
I
name.
know.
think I think Dave and Moki brought a cooler with some beers. I think they were sitting up in the back. I remember turning around, looking over my shoulder, seeing you guys up there. You guys are
Yeah, 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 man. That was
some
such
great memories.
great times, man. We're proud that that Hawaii was a part of your story. So when we see you on the TV and all these national shows and how well you're doing, we're so proud that Hawaii was a part of your story. You know what I mean? And we're so proud of you.
Well, it very much shaped me,
Mhm.
and I think I talked about my dad and the patience that he had with players, and I think it taught me the value of people. And I get players here, as I have at every school where I've coached, that different skill levels. Some guys are more talented than others, but if a guy has a desire, there's great value in that guy. and as a player, he can bring something to the team and add value to the team. And I think just how much the players there played for each other and played for that brand. We had so many local guys, and you back then. I mean, Hawaii football was it. We would go out to the stadiums on Saturday nights and there'd be 40, 45, 50,000 people crammed in there throwing confetti. It was awesome. I mean, it was one of the great atmospheres in college football. And for you guys, as you grew up, you wanted to play on that team. That was a big deal to go play out at Aloha Stadium. And
It was.
I mean, that was something that I felt that the guys really had a great pride in the brand that they were playing for. And I appreciated that. And that's always been something that I've pushed as a position coach, assistant coach, and certainly as a head coach is playing together for the brand and riding for the brand. And that man, that was awesome to be a part of those Saturday nights out at Aloha Stadium.
Those times were wild, man. Crazy. But I think, Sarah, you had a question?
Yeah. Talking about you being an assistant, you spent years as an assistant before getting your first head coaching job. What was that like? Moving your family, betting on yourself, and waiting for the big opportunity?
It was a great experience. There's certainly some trying times along the way, but I really very much felt like an apprentice. That there were these master coaches, these coaches that had so much experience that I could learn from, and so I listened. I took a lot of notes. I asked a lot of questions. So they were very formidable years for me as a coach. The 2 years at Hawaii, I spent 1 year at Arizona State. Larry Marmee was the coach there, and I still keep in touch with him. In fact, he came to the Army Navy game 2 years ago. I just had breakfast with him and a bunch of the coaches from Arizona State about a month ago out in Phoenix when I was there. He's just a tremendous person. He was a great coach. And then I went to the University of Buffalo. That was my first job, real position job. I was the guy in the room. It was a great experience for me. We didn't have a great football team, but I learned a lot of lessons and
Wait,
and made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot from that experience.
speaking about the Buffalo, your
Yeah,
job, you recruited two Hawaii kids, James
I
Monken
did.
and Jared
And
Kale.
Aaron Kale.
Aaron
Yep.
Kale, yeah.
Yeah. One from Aiea and one from Kamehameha.
Yes, one from
Wow.
my one from Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that was
Yeah.
December of 1992. I traveled out to Hawaii and went to all the local schools. I mean, I went to all the schools, the public schools, private schools, and that's back again when you didn't have internet and you were trying to get videotapes of prospects. And so those two guys were two guys I had a chance to meet and got them to come visit us in January of 1993. And fortunately, they signed with us and brought those guys out to Buffalo, and they were like my two sons. I mean, I it was Sunday fellowship at my house, so I would feed them. I'd make terry chicken and rice, and I'd have them over and just have the aloha spirit alive in Buffalo. So that was a great experience. And we unfortunately it ended with our staff being let go. We probably deserved it. We weren't very good, and not probably what we had a chance to be. So that adversity created other opportunities for me. And I was a high school coach for a year. I learned a lot from that. When you're in college coaching and you want to be a college coach, you try to get back into college, and I'm gonna tell you, it's hard. It's hard to get a job at this level. And so I took a high school job back home in Illinois and really had a great experience. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I had the opportunity to coach in high school and learn what those programs really are like from the inside out. But then I got back into coaching. I was a offensive line coach at Concordia, which is a Division III school in Illinois, for a year. And then Paul Johnson hired me at Georgia Southern, and I worked for him for 13 years at three different schools. And finally at Georgia Tech, the last couple of years with him was at Georgia Tech. We won an ACC championship. The next morning, we flew from Miami back to Atlanta, and Beth and the girls and I got in our car and we drove to Statesboro, Georgia, and we had a press conference the next day. And I was the coach at Georgia Southern, and
Wow.
and what a blessing that was. We loved our time at Georgia Southern. Evie was born when we were in Statesboro at Georgia Southern, and she doesn't even remember Statesboro. Her whole life has been here at West Point. We've been here for a little over 12 years now. So my kids have grown up here, and to have the opportunity to go to Georgia Southern was incredible. I never thought I'd leave. I thought I'd always be the coach at Georgia Southern. And we still love that community and that program and that school. But this was really a calling for me. I never served in the military, but I consider myself a patriot. I'm very proud of this nation. I'm proud to be an American. What this nation stands for, the values we have. So in my own way, I think this is my opportunity to serve, and the influence I have as a leader here on all of our players, the young men and women that are a part of our academy, to be an example of leadership and professionalism, and to help grow them as leaders of character, to serve our nation, to serve our army is an opportunity I really felt like I had to take. And I'm glad I did it. And they hired me to do one thing, and that's to win football games. That's what my job is. But it, really, at the root of it, it's to educate, train, and inspire leaders of character. And so that's what we do every day here, along with fighting as hard as we can to win football games. Unfortunately, we've won enough games that the keys still work to my office. So I'll come back tomorrow hoping they still work.
Oh,
Well,
I love that.
that's amazing. I mean, and that's a great segue to our next section.
Yeah.
That the girls kind of wanted to kind of talk about. But what makes West Point different? I think Jordan had some questions. Jordan and Dalen.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking on finding character, I imagine the recruitment process is a little different than recruiting from a traditional college because you're not only recruiting talent, but also character. So I kind of just wanted to ask like what that process is like, and how do you find, for your football team, how do you find those young men?
Well, you experienced that. West Point found
Yeah.
you. The soccer coach found you, and it's finding one, people who are talented at what they do, and certainly we can't be void of talent. So the first thing is we got to find football players that are talented enough to contribute to our success and help us win. But beyond that, then there's the academic element. This is a very challenging academic environment. It's an elite college. There are some great colleges and universities around the world, and I consider this one of the best. So it takes somebody that's highly intelligent, very driven. The classrooms are a competitive cauldron themselves. There are people here that are valedictorians of their high school class, perfect scores on the SAT, speak 5 languages fluently. Those are the people that our players are surrounded by in these classrooms. So they've got to have the academic prowess, and they've got to have a desire to succeed and to learn. But we really vet each candidate, each player, with their high school coach, their guidance counselor, their teachers, people that would be influential in their character development, to find out what kind of leaders they are and what is their true moral character. And that's really important in our evaluation, because each one of these young men and women are going to graduate with a great degree from West Point. They're going to play a sport. Every person that comes to West Point has to play a sport. You're either playing an NCAA sanctioned sport, we have 30 of those, or you're playing a club sport or intramurals. Sports is very much a part of West Point. And so when we seek out somebody that's talented physically, we also seek out someone who is a leader and who has the mental toughness to be able to endure a very rigid academic environment and professional standards. They wear uniforms. There's standards for grooming. Our men have to cut their hair short. They got to shave their face every day. Keep the room clean. Those aren't standards at every college. So it's not easy. But this place wasn't built for easy. It's built for people who are tough. And when you go into the profession they're going to go into and serve as Army officers, they've got to be tough, and they've got to be professional, and they got to be smart and driven. And so we seek young men that have those characteristics to come into our program.
Do you find it challenging sometimes? Like maybe they're really talented, but like either one doesn't have the discipline it takes to be a leader or like a candidate. Does that make sense?
We do. That's a great
Yeah.
question. It's a great question, because it's really difficult as a coach when you find someone who's extremely talented, physically talented, They're
Mhm.
fast, they're athletic, physical, long. They have the qualities of a dynamic, outstanding athlete, but they don't possess the moral character, the leadership skills that we know they need to be able to succeed here and ultimately to graduate and become a leader in the Army. And we've got to pass them by. We've just got to say no and move on to the next prospect. And it's really hard because you want talented people on your team. I want
Mhm.
talented players that they're going to give us the best chance to win. But what
Yeah.
we've got to do is just keep turning over rocks and keep asking those questions and find the talented players that also have the values and the morals and the character and the leadership skills that we know are going to be beneficial to our Army. Because
Mhm.
again, I said this is my opportunity to serve. And if I'm going to serve the Army, if I'm going to serve this nation in my role, then I've got to bring the very best people that I can to this institution and help develop them over the 47 months that they're here so that they are prepared to go and lead and to lead honorably.
Mhm. Yeah,
That
I
was a great
remember
question.
I remember my recruitment process with West Point.
I do too. I remember you and your mom. You and your mom came to the opening game in
Yeah, and oh my
2019
gosh.
and you were on a
The
bus and I went down and coach said, "Can you come down and talk to my prospects?" And I got on the bus and I kind of pumped everybody up. And we won a really great close game that night
yeah.
under the lights on a Friday night. And you and your mom came over, spent some time at our house, and so that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I just remember the campus was so beautiful. I like fell in love there. It was so nice. And the river, I remember everything. But I think it was my senior year, right, Dad? It was pretty difficult, the process into actually getting into the school. Like I committed,
Mhm.
but it was very difficult. I remember I was stressed.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Jordan, as you remember, there's not just an application
Yeah.
where you give all your credentials, academic credentials, and all the things that you've been involved in, all the sports and the leadership positions you've been in, and student government. But then there are the letters of recommendation that have to come from teachers and your guidance counselor. And then there's a physical requirement. So not only do you have to take a medical physical and pass all of those things, you also have to do a physical test.
Yeah.
So jump and run and throw and push-ups and pull-ups and all those things that have to be recorded and sent in. It is a stressful process. When somebody comes to school here and they make it all the way through, you know they want to come to school here because
Yeah.
there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
And
Yeah.
then we also needed approval from, I think, the congressman
Yeah,
from
you get a
Hawaii.
nomination from a
Yeah,
congressman
Oh
or
my gosh, I
senator.
forget. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
had difficulty getting that, going through that process. I think Steve Case was a congressman at that time. Yeah, so that was another step. But
So not only like are you recruiting, like they might commit, but they might not even make it past like getting into the school
that's right.
part. So yeah,
Mhm.
very difficult.
I had
Very interesting.
yeah. So we know your players carry massive academic loads on top of military training and football. Can you
Mhm.
share with the listeners what a daily schedule looks like for your players during the season?
I will. And people would be surprised to realize that West Point really is a lot like a traditional college. It's they don't march around and get up and have to do 5 mile run and 800 push-ups. They do some physical training here, but it's very much like a traditional college with these exceptions. So everybody every morning is required to be at morning formation. So everybody in the school is dressed in the uniform of the day and they go outside and they line up in formation and they take accountability for who's there and who's not there. Now, sometimes there's a team that's traveling on a road game or somebody's doing an academic trip of some kind, but they get accountability every day so that they know that everybody's up and ready for the day. There's mandatory breakfast, so they all make it over to the mess hall or the cafeteria, and the entire school, all 4,400 students, eat together at the same time. Our players actually eat their meals together at the tables together, but they're seated in the mess hall by company. So our school is 4,400 students. It's divided into 4 regiments. Each regiment has about 1,100 students. Each regiment has 9 companies. all of about 150 students. And so there's the same number of seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen in each company. And really our school is run by the students. The leadership team here helps guide our most senior ranking cadets or students to lead. So they lead the companies. There's a company commander, there's a company executive staff. And so it's very much set up like an organization. And so they learn organizational leadership. They learn to motivate and inspire and to peer review, and very valuable things. And that happens all the time. It happens in morning formation, it happens at the meal hours, but it's formation, it's a breakfast, and then class starts at 7:30 here. Most of our guys take morning classes. We're an afternoon practice team, so we want to clear out those late afternoon hours so our guys can come up to the stadium and we can practice and lift and meet and do all the things that we do. But at lunchtime, there's a formation again. So as classes break, everybody again, they align in formation, they take accountability, and then everybody files into the mess hall for lunch and they eat lunch together. And after lunch, there again are classes offered in the afternoon, and a lot of our guys take classes in the hour or two after lunch. But during the season, we get all of our players here at 2:30. So at 2:30, we start our first meeting or our first workout or whatever is planned for the day, and then we go through our routine in the afternoon. And Monday is the only weekday that we don't practice. That's the day off for our players. But Tuesday through Friday, we play games on Saturday. We practice on Sunday evenings. We have a workout in the afternoon and meetings, and then practice in the evening. So they're here 6 days a week. But our practices and our meetings, they're very time consuming. When you play football, there's a lot of equipment to put on and tape your ankles and get pre-practice treatment and all those things that happen. It's a 6 hour time commitment. They show up here at 2:30, and by the time we're getting done with dinner, we serve dinner in our building here. It's probably 8:30 at night when they're making their way to the bus or heading back down the hill to the central area to their dormitories to study. So it's a lot, and it's all day, and they really have from the time practice ends until they go to sleep to get their studies done. And in an academic environment like that, like we have here, it is very challenging. So I give our guys a lot of credit for being able to balance it all, and it is a challenge. I don't cut them any slack, but I do appreciate the fact that they've got some pretty tight schedules.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it sounds vigorous, man. Shucks. But I mean, it's great because these are the people that serve in our country, you know.
Yeah.
So we're well taken care of, you know, with leaders and men and women like with that type of discipline and commitment.
The
And
challenge is here because our players will take anywhere between 15 and 21 hours a semester. So, there's always that saying that people say something's not hard. They'll say, well, it's not rocket science. And here, they're actually taking rocket science. The classes are hard. And so I think there are times where our players have to decide, they have to prioritize. And the next day, they may have two tests, and one of them might be math and one might be an engineering class, both challenging classes. But they've got to decide what I'm going to spend more time on. Which one am I going to prioritize to be able to accomplish the mission tomorrow of taking both of these tests? And that's very much like their life will be in the Army. They're going to have to make decisions and prioritize one part of the mission over another. Oftentimes you can't accomplish everything. And that's life. We got to make choices in life about what's most important at the moment. And what we decide at the moment, is that going to be an immediate payoff, or is that something I'm making an investment for down the road? And those are difficult choices, and we all have to make those. You ladies are making those. Your dad makes those decisions. I make those decisions every day. We do. And so I think having the difficulties and the challenges here really teaches those skills on how to balance a really busy schedule as a leader, because oftentimes the higher you go in the hierarchy of an organization, the closer you get to the top, the more responsibility you have, the more decisions you have to make. And those decisions affect a lot more people than just yourself. And so I think the difficulties and challenges here really teach our young men and women how to do that more effectively.
those are great words, Mom, especially for our daughters here. on this podcast that they're all, in the workforce now, and they all have leadership roles and responsibilities. And those words you just said was so true. And exactly, I think it really hits home during this time.
We all have to, when we start to balance family, and we get married and have a spouse, and then we have children, and it just adds more to it. Those are more people that our decisions, they're affected by our decisions, and they're affected by our choices and what we prioritize. And so every time something else, when you get more responsibility, then more is expected. And so that we learn those lessons as we go through life. But
Mhm.
our students, our players, our cadets here, hopefully are learning those lessons, so that when they go out in the Army, they're able to make those decisions right from the start when they take command, because it won't be long after they graduate. They go to basic officer leadership course, and then they go take command. So before their 23rd birthday, they're in charge of a unit in the United States Army, and it's a pretty awesome responsibility.
Awesome. Monk, before we close with our last segment, we really didn't talk too much about football, but I just kind of want to mention just some of the amazing things you've done as a football coach. You're heading into your 13th season here at West Point. You have a career record of 126 wins and 79 losses. As a career, your Army record is 89 and 63. You have 6 bowl victories, and what most impressive is you have 4 Commander-in-Chief trophies. You've created such a great career, and we're so proud of you. To follow you in your program and your success. But just for our listeners, what does the Army-Navy rivalry mean, and winning the Commander-in-Chief trophy? What does that mean to
Well,
you?
I will start by saying that I'm embarrassed that that's not 12 Commander-in-Chief's trophies. We want to win that thing every year. And it is a great source of pride for us, and has been a great source of pride for us to hold that trophy here. And it took us a while to get it. I took the job in 2014, and we didn't capture that trophy until 2017. But those games are maybe some of the most fiercely competitive, most fiercely contested games that I have ever been a part of as a player, as a coach. I mean, there's some great rivalries that when Hawaii and BYU were in the WAC. I mean, a hated rivalry.
Yeah.
I remember just the awesome feeling of playing that game, winning that game, and I will tell you that it pales in comparison to the Army Navy game. There is respect among those two institutions, certainly for what their students and their graduates, what their players will do as service members. But they're not service members right now, and neither are our players. They're college students in what I consider the greatest rivalry in sports, and it is a hated rivalry, and we want to win it. And I will tell you that I think it's different from other games for a couple of reasons. One, the pride of playing not just for a school or for a state or for a fan base, but playing for over 1 million men and women that wear the uniform of the United States Army, and for tens of thousands of Americans and American families who have had members of the United States Army and have worn that uniform with pride. We play for them and we represent them, and that's an awesome responsibility. And so that game means a lot because of that. But also understanding that every competitor on that field, the 22 players that are on the field for every play, all their teammates on the sideline, all their classmates in the stands. So just shy of 9,000 young men and women aged 18 to 23 years old who have all pledged a commitment to serve our nation, and will perhaps have to stand between freedom and those that want to take it from us with their life on the line. And some of them will lay their lives down for this country. And every one of those 9,000 students understands that, the magnitude of that, the responsibility they have, and the honor that comes with that. And so There's no other game that's played where the 22 competitors and all nearly 9,000 of their classmates have made that pledge to serve our nation and to ultimately maybe pay the price of their life for the freedoms of everybody else that's watching. So it really is a different game, and it really is a different rivalry. And I think that's why when we play that game, when you enter the stadium, there is an electricity in that stadium that's indescribable. You can feel it. You can physically feel it. It's not just an emotion. You could physically feel the energy in that stadium. And every play, from the opening kickoff, every play, it feels like the whole game is hanging in the balance. It is just the most exhausting, incredible rivalry that I mean, just never been a part of anything like it. And I've coached in 18 of those games, which is amazing. So going on my 19th this year, my 13th at West Point.
It's awesome. I mean, we're glued as a family. We're glued to the TV on that
Yeah.
Saturday. Cheering for you and at West Point, and we're texting each other. Talking about the game. It's so awesome. But one of the greatest, I think, football traditions in college football too. The greatest, and just the pride that you see, on those young men on that field is the same young men that will be fighting for us, in our country. So it's such an amazing tradition and game for us. I think Sarah's going to close us out on our final segment today.
Yeah, that was a family tradition watching you on TV, Uncle. It was a fun gathering for us. We
Well,
know
I'm
him.
sorry you wasted your time the last couple of years. We
No.
got to get this thing turned back around. We will.
We got one more question to ask you before we have rapid fire questions that are quick. But before that, I just want to say how grateful it is to hear from you, and learn from you. I feel like being away from my family it's getting harder and harder. So to be able to just be here and see how great of a friend my dad has in his life is pretty cool. And just hearing your stories and just the knowledge and insight you have being a leader and being a coach. And I know where my dad gets it from now. So it's this is very special getting to hear from you and learn from you. And being in California, I don't get a lot of this kind of conversation. So this is needed, and as I get older, I realize how important it is who you surround yourself with, and sorry to get emotional. I'm the older sister, so I feel like I'm the mother of these two girls right here. So it's been really cool just to hear from you. And I don't think I've ever gotten a chance to just listen to you really speak. I know Jordan has, and she came home from that trip just so just amazed by you and West Point and just the honor people have over there going to that school and that academy. And she texted us immediately when she got there, I'm going to West Point. And we were like, no way. You made the decision so fast, And it was cool to just hear from her, and just listening to you today was very inspiring, which leads me into my last question. What's the one thing your faith has taught you about leading young men through pressure?
So that's a good question. I first want to say I'm really proud of you three ladies, and I love you, and I'm just so proud of you and the ladies you become. And you know, you can talk about me and the friend I am to your dad, but sometimes probably because he's your dad, you don't appreciate the friend he is to so many people and the friend he's been to me, the support that he's been for me. And I've been through some hard times. I've been through some difficult breakups in my life and disappointments in my life. And I've always called your dad, and he's always been an encouragement to me. He never judges. He never has tried to tell me what to do or give me advice. He just listens and is there and has loved me and like a brother. So you got a great dad, and you got a great mom who I love dearly. And so I'm not surprised that they've got three wonderful young ladies for daughters and a great son. So I'm really proud of you guys. But faith has always been important in my family. And my players always know where my heart is and that I've got a heart for Jesus. And it's challenging. There are, there are some boundaries that are in place. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is. particularly at public institutions, especially at West Point, just to be able to express that and in every way that perhaps we desire to, and that's okay. And I understand that and appreciate that. But I think that just the example that Christ was for us. You know, we strive to be the best that we can for other people. I think we all probably deep down in our hearts want to be an example to others. We want to serve others. We want people to trust us and to know that we care about them. But we're oftentimes selfish and we fall short of what we hope to be. But I think we can always look back at Christ's love and his example of leadership, his example of service, and throughout his life, he gave us examples of that. You know, he was a leader who he wasn't always just friendly and kind and nice. You know, when he went into the temple and people were trading animals and bartering and taking money and for sacrifices, he turned over tables and got mad and he yelled at the people there and he said, you've made a den of thieves of my father's house. He was stern and he was firm in his belief and his conviction about what the way that we were supposed to live, and yet he was also very gentle and kind and loving, and so just what a wonderful example he is, and that we can always look back to that and use those lessons as lessons for leadership and for our life and the way we treat people and the way we father and mother and raise our children, how we act as siblings and as children to our parents and to others and everybody we come in contact with. So I know that I fall short every day, that my impatience, the way I talk to people, the the fact that I point the finger and blame, and there's three fingers pointing right back at me, but the human side of me comes out. I know I fall short, but I'm reminded of what I can be and what I should be every day because of Jesus's life and his example.
Amazing. Awesome, brother. Ooh. Well, we're going to close out our final segment. We usually do like a fun kind of thing at the end. We do it's called like a rapid fire question. So I think Jordan's going to run us through 6 quick rapid fire questions.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna ask you. We only have 5,
Okay.
and it's supposed to be one word, but I see a couple questions in here where you can explain a little bit, but it's supposed to be quick. The first one is Hawaii or West Point winters?
Hawaii.
Given. Okay. Next one.
100 times over, and nobody would fight me on that argument.
One word to describe Army football.
Tough.
Best leadership book you've had or
The
read?
Bible.
That's a good one.
Every leadership lesson you need
Yeah.
is in that book.
Yeah. What would 25-year-old Jeff Monken tell himself today?
Slow down and enjoy the ride.
What do you want every dad listening right now to tell their child?
I love you and I'm proud of you, and you're perfect just the way you are.
Okay, last one. What does aloha mean to you?
It's family. It's a spirit that I think is rooted in family and love for others. That's aloha to me. It's not the beaches. It's not the Hawaii winter. It's the people. It's the feeling that you get when you're around the people that you love most. That's aloha.
Wow. Well, Monk, man, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you so much for your time that you've given to us and our listeners. Because I know your time is valuable.
Oh,
I know
I
it's
am
late.
honored. I am honored. You guys asked me to join you. I love you guys. I love you, Leonard. You're my great friend, and your beautiful bride, Dana, and these 3 girls, and Zeke. Just so proud of all you guys, and I love you so much.
Well, we want to wish the Army and West Point football program, the best of luck heading into this 2026 season. And we always say, go Army, beat Navy.
Beat Navy.
Well, we want to just thank everybody for joining us today on this episode of This is 3 for 3. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. We see all you on our next episode on our 3 for 3 Daddy Daughter podcast, where we talk about faith, family, and sport. Monk, put it up, Monk. Put up the shaka.
Aloha.